Kody Brown just made a confession on national television that allegedly has lawyers scrambling and TLC executives in absolute panic mode. During his brutal appearance on Special Forces, Kody did something he has never done in over a decade of reality television. He admitted he was wrong, he confessed to manipulating his wives, he acknowledged destroying relationships with his children, and sources whisper that these shocking admissions could trigger a legal avalanche that buries both Kody and the network that made him famous. For years, Sister Wives fans watched Kody gaslight Christine, manipulate Janelle, and emotionally torture Meri while the cameras rolled. TLC profited from every toxic moment, every tear, every heartbreak. But now, insiders claim the network is terrified because Kody just confessed on a competing platform that he knew he was wrong the entire time. He admitted he intentionally blamed his wives and children to avoid taking responsibility. Industry sources suggest this isn't just reality TV drama anymore. This is potentially documented evidence of psychological abuse, and rumor has it that legal teams are already reviewing every frame. The most shocking part? Kody made these confessions while crying on camera, playing the victim card one more time. But the drill sergeants on Special Forces weren't buying it. They called him out with brutal honesty, telling Kody his behavior was adolescent, childish, and disgusting. One sergeant looked him dead in the eye and said the fault lies entirely with him. No one else. Just him. Sources close to the situation reveal that this kind of direct confrontation has never happened to Kody before, and he completely crumbled under the pressure. Palace insiders from the reality television world are allegedly whispering that TLC is in full damage control mode. The network spent years crafting a narrative that painted Kody as a flawed but loving father trying his best in a complicated family structure, but Kody just obliterated that narrative by admitting he manipulated everyone around him, knew he was wrong, and chose to blame innocent people anyway. Legal experts supposedly believe these on-camera confessions could be used as evidence in ongoing disputes over property, child support, and financial settlements with his ex-wives. But here's where it gets even more explosive. Kody didn't just admit to being a bad husband and father. He casually confessed to committing felonies on camera. He admitted to having 4 wives and 18 children while polygamy remains illegal in every state he lived in. Arizona prosecutors could theoretically use his own words against him. Utah authorities have the confession on record, and sources speculate that this admission could complicate every legal battle Kody faces because it acknowledges his criminal marital structure. The fallout from this appearance is allegedly just beginning, and insiders claim that Christine, Janelle, and Meri are watching with vindication and fury. For over a decade, these women were made to look difficult, unreasonable, and jealous on national television while Kody played the patient patriarch. Now he has confessed that it was all a lie. But that was just the beginning of the nightmare Kody unleashed. The words that came out of Kody Brown's mouth on Special Forces were so shocking that even the hardened drill sergeants looked disgusted. Kody sat there with tears streaming down his face, trying to play the sympathy card, and confessed something truly disturbing. He admitted that he always knew he was wrong but refused to accept it because he hated being blamed. Let that sink in for a moment. This man knew for years that he was destroying his family, hurting his children, and manipulating his wives, but he chose to gaslight them anyway because his ego couldn't handle admitting fault. When the drill sergeants pressed him about his failed relationships with his children, Kody's response was bone-chilling. He said he didn't know how to be a good dad or husband, and that's why he screwed everything up. But sources close to the situation reveal this is just another deflection tactic. Kody had every opportunity to learn, to grow, to become a better person. He chose not to. Instead, he weaponized his ignorance as an excuse while intentionally blaming everyone around him for problems he created. The most disturbing moment came when Kody admitted he resisted ownership because he hated being wrong. One of the sergeants looked at him and said that resistance to being blamed is a very adolescent way of looking at life. They called him out for acting like a child, for refusing to be a man and take responsibility, and Kody just sat there crying, nodding, pretending to accept accountability while still making excuses. Industry insiders claim this performance was classic Kody Brown manipulation, using tears to deflect from the sinister truth underneath. But here's what makes this confession so legally explosive. Kody essentially admitted on camera that he manipulated his wives and children intentionally. He knew the entire time that he was at fault. He knew he was hurting them. He knew they weren't responsible for the family's destruction, but he blamed them anyway, made them feel guilty, and gaslit them into believing they were the problem. Legal experts allegedly suggest this is textbook psychological abuse, and having it documented on national television could be devastating in any legal proceedings. The drill sergeants weren't done exposing Kody's tactics when they told him that when he truly owns his mistakes, he'll actually do something about them. Kody had no response. Because the truth is, he won't do anything. He'll continue blaming Christine for leaving. He'll keep painting Janelle as difficult. He'll maintain that Meri pushed him away. Sources whisper that even after these confessions, Kody returned to Robin and continued the same toxic patterns because accountability was just another performance for the cameras. What Kody didn't realize during his tearful confession is that his words were being recorded, archived, and allegedly reviewed by legal teams representing his ex-wives. Every admission of intentional manipulation, every confession of knowing he was wrong, every acknowledgement that he blamed innocent people could potentially be used against him. And the legal implications were about to get even worse. Behind closed doors, sources whisper that legal teams are having a field day with Kody Brown's Special Forces confessions. What Kody thought was a redemption arc could allegedly turn into a prosecutor's dream evidence reel. Legal analysts supposedly believe that admitting on national television to intentional manipulation while knowing you're at fault creates what's called consciousness of guilt, and that can be absolutely devastating in legal proceedings. Here's where it gets truly explosive. Christine, Janelle, and Meri all left Kody under different circumstances, but they share one common thread: financial disputes, property battles, questions about who deserves what after years of contributing to a plural family structure. Insiders claim that Kody's on-camera admission that he intentionally gaslit these women while knowing he was wrong could potentially impact every single settlement negotiation. When you admit to psychological manipulation on record, sources suggest it becomes much harder to claim you deserve equal treatment in property divisions. The child support situation allegedly gets even messier. Kody admitted he has no connection with many of his 18 children, and he stated this was because he didn't know how to be a good father. Legal experts supposedly point out that admitting parental failure on national television while simultaneously fighting against financial support obligations creates a paper trail that family court judges absolutely notice. Rumor has it that Kody's biological children, who are still minors, could potentially use these confessions to strengthen any support claims their mothers are pursuing. But the truly sinister legal angle involves what Kody admitted about his manipulation tactics. He confessed that he knew all along he was wrong, but chose to blame his wives and children anyway because he hated being wrong. Sources close to legal proceedings allegedly suggest this admission could be classified as evidence of intentional infliction of emotional distress. When someone admits they knowingly caused psychological harm to avoid personal accountability, that potentially crosses from reality TV drama into legally actionable behavior. Industry insiders whisper that the polygamy confession creates its own legal nightmare. Kody casually admitted on camera to having 4 wives simultaneously in states where polygamy is a felony. While prosecution is unlikely given the political climate around plural marriage, legal analysts allegedly believe this admission complicates everything. How do you claim legal rights to property or parental authority when you've confessed on television to engaging in illegal marital structures? Sources suggest this could be used to challenge Kody's standing in various legal disputes. The property situation allegedly becomes even more complex when you factor in Coyote Pass. Kody has been fighting to maintain control over land that was purchased with money from all 4 wives, but now he's admitted on camera that he manipulated these women, knew he was wrong, and intentionally gaslit them. Legal experts supposedly believe this confession could be used to argue that any agreements made during the marriage were signed under duress or manipulation, potentially invalidating Kody's claims to equal ownership. Palace insiders claim the legal avalanche is just beginning to slide, and TLC is watching in horror. But the network's panic was about to reach explosive levels. Sources whisper that TLC executives are in absolute meltdown behind closed doors, and the reason is terrifying for the network. For over a decade, TLC profited from sister wives, while Kody Brown openly committed felonies on camera. Polygamy is illegal in every state where the Browns lived: Arizona, Utah, Nevada, all felonies. And TLC filmed it, edited it, aired it, and made millions from it. Now, Kody has confessed on a non-TLC platform that he knew he was manipulating everyone, and industry insiders allegedly believe the network could face serious reputation damage or even legal scrutiny. The panic allegedly started the moment Kody's Special Forces episodes began airing. TLC executives supposedly realized they had no control over what Kody said, no ability to edit his confessions, and no way to spin the narrative. For years, sister wives carefully crafted storylines that painted Kody as a flawed but loving patriarch patriarch trying his best in a complicated family structure. The network allegedly spent millions on production, editing, and damage control to maintain that image. But Kody just walked onto a competing show and destroyed everything by admitting he manipulated his family intentionally. Industry sources claim TLC is terrified about the financial implications. Sister Wives has been one of the network's longest-running and most profitable shows. But if viewers start seeing Kody's confessions as evidence of documented abuse that TLC enabled and profited from, the backlash could be catastrophic. Rumor has it that sponsors are already asking questions behind closed doors. Advertisers allegedly want reassurance that they weren't funding a show that documented psychological manipulation and criminal activity disguised as family entertainment. The legal department at TLC is supposedly working overtime reviewing every contract, every release form, and every piece of footage ever aired. Sources whisper that the network needs to determine if Kody's confessions create any liability for TLC as the platform that gave him a voice. When someone admits on camera that they intentionally gaslit their wives and children for years, and another network has hundreds of hours of that gaslighting documented and monetized, legal experts allegedly suggest that could become a public relations nightmare at minimum. But here's where the panic reaches fever pitch. Palace insiders claim TLC executives are terrified that Kody might do more interviews on other platforms where the network has zero control. What if he goes on a podcast and makes even more damaging admissions? What if he appears on another reality show and casually confesses to additional manipulation tactics? Sources suggest TLC is allegedly scrambling to figure out how to protect the Sister Wives brand when the star of the show keeps confessing to terrible behavior outside their editorial control. The advertising revenue allegedly hangs in the balance. Sister Wives has been declining in ratings as Christine, Janelle, and Meri left the family, but the show still generates significant income. Industry insiders whisper that if public perception shifts from seeing Sister Wives as family drama to viewing it as documented abuse, advertisers will flee and the show becomes toxic. And the wives were watching everything with vindication burning in their hearts. Sources close to Christine, Janelle, and Meri reveal that all three women watched Kody's Special Forces meltdown with a mixture of vindication and absolute fury. For over a decade, these women were painted as difficult, jealous, and unreasonable on national television while Kody played the patient patriarch. Now he has confessed on camera that he knew all along he was the problem, and insiders whisper that legal teams are reviewing every second of his tearful admission. Kody Brown allegedly watched Kody's confession with her jaw on the floor. This is the same man who told her on camera that he wasn't attracted to her anymore. The same man who made her feel worthless for wanting monogamy. The same man who gaslit her into believing she was destroying the family by leaving. And now Kody admits he intentionally manipulated everyone because he hated being wrong. Sources suggest Christine's legal team is allegedly combing through the footage to see if these admissions can strengthen her position in any ongoing property disputes over Coyote Pass. Janelle Brown's response is supposedly even more calculated. Industry insiders claim Janelle has always been the most business-minded wife, and she allegedly sees Kody's confessions as a strategic gift. For years, Janelle contributed financially to the family, while Kody made unilateral decisions about property and investments. Now he has admitted on television that he manipulated his wives intentionally. Sources whisper that Janelle's attorneys are allegedly exploring whether this confession invalidates any financial agreements made during the marriage, particularly regarding the Coyote Pass property that Kody refuses to divide fairly. Meri Brown's situation allegedly carries the most legal weight because she's the only wife who was actually legally married to Kody. Their divorce was finalized so Kody could legally marry Robyn, but sources suggest Meri could potentially argue that her divorce was obtained under duress or manipulation given Kody's recent confessions. Legal experts supposedly believe that admitting you intentionally gaslit your legal spouse could reopen questions about whether the divorce settlement was fair or if Meri was manipulated into accepting unfavorable terms. But here's where the wives' potential response gets truly explosive. Rumor has it that Christine, Janelle, and Meri have been quietly communicating about their shared experiences and comparing notes about Kody's manipulation tactics. Sources whisper they're allegedly building a united front, and Kody's confessions just handed them documented proof that everything they've been saying about his behavior is true. When three women independently describe the same patterns of manipulation and then the abuser admits on television that he did it intentionally, that allegedly creates a devastating case for any legal proceedings. Palace insiders claim the wives are particularly focused on Kody's admission that he has no connection with his children and feels nothing for them. Sources suggest this confession could be used to challenge Kody's custody arrangements, visitation rights, or claims that he deserves deserves equal parental consideration in any disputes involving minor children who still live with their mothers. The children were watching too, and their heartbreak was turning into something far more dangerous for Kody. Kody Brown's confession that he has no connection with many of his 18 children allegedly shattered hearts all over again, but this time the pain is transforming into something far more powerful. Sources close to the Brown family whisper that Gabe, Garrison, Madison, Mykelti, and others who have spoken publicly about their strained relationships with Kody are devastated by hearing their father admit on national television that he feels absolutely nothing for them. Industry insiders claim some of his estranged children are now considering taking stronger legal or public stands against the man who abandoned them emotionally. Gabe Brown allegedly watched his father's Special Forces appearance and felt his worst fears confirmed. For years, Gabe tried to maintain a relationship with Kody despite the toxic dynamics and Robin's alleged interference. He begged his father to prioritize their relationship. He tried to understand the complicated family structure, and now Kody admits on camera that he has no bond with his children, and it's unfortunate but not really his fault. Sources suggest Gabe is furious that Kody played the victim card while confessing to feeling nothing, and rumor has it that Gabe might speak out publicly about what this confession really means. Garrison Brown's situation allegedly carries even more emotional weight. Garrison served in the National Guard and has been vocal about feeling abandoned by his father. Now, Kody admits on television that he feels no connection to many of his kids, and sources whisper that Garrison sees this as the final confirmation that his father never cared. Industry insiders claim Garrison might join forces with his siblings to create a united front against Kody's continued gaslighting and victim mentality. Madison Brown Brush allegedly had one of the strongest reactions to her father's confession. Madison has been outspoken about cutting Kody out of her life and refusing to let him have a relationship with her children. She's talked publicly about the pain of having a father who chose his favorite wife over his kids. Now, Kody admits he feels nothing for the children he's estranged from, and sources suggest Madison feels vindicated but also heartbroken that her father could be so cold. Rumor has it she might address his Special Forces confession directly on social media. Mykelti Brown, Padron's response is supposedly more measured but equally devastating. Mykelti has maintained some contact with Kody, but sources whisper she's allegedly questioning everything after watching him admit he intentionally manipulated the family and feels no connection to many of his children. Industry insiders claim Mykelti is caught between wanting to believe her father can change and realizing that his tears on Special Forces were just another manipulation tactic. But here's what makes the children's response so legally significant. Several of Kody's kids are adults now, with platforms, voices, and the ability to speak publicly about their experiences. Sources suggest that if multiple Brown children come forward with stories that corroborate Kody's confession of intentional manipulation, it creates a documented pattern that could allegedly impact any legal disputes involving custody, support, or parental rights. And Kody's polygamy confession was creating its own legal nightmare. Kody Brown casually admitted on national television that he had 18 kids with 4 wives, and legal analysts allegedly believe he just confessed to felony crimes on camera without even realizing the implications. Polygamy remains illegal in Arizona, Utah, Nevada, and every other state where the Brown family lived. But Kody sat there with tears streaming down his face and openly acknowledged his plural marriage structure as if it were just a lifestyle choice instead of documented criminal activity that he broadcasted to millions of viewers. The Arizona situation allegedly carries the most legal weight because Kody currently resides in Flagstaff. Arizona law explicitly classifies polygamy as a felony offense, and the state constitution specifically prohibits plural marriage. Sources whisper that while prosecution is unlikely given the political sensitivities around religious freedom and plural families, Kody's on-camera confession creates a permanent record that he knowingly engaged in illegal activity. Legal experts supposedly suggest this admission could complicate any legal battles involving property, custody, or financial disputes because it acknowledges his criminal marital structure. Utah's legal landscape allegedly adds another layer of complexity to Kody's confession. The Brown family originally lived in Lehi, Utah, where they filmed the early seasons of Sister Wives before fleeing to Nevada when they feared prosecution. Utah technically decriminalized polygamy in 2020, reducing it from a felony to an infraction in most cases. But sources claim that doesn't erase the years Kody spent openly violating Utah law on camera while TLC profited from filming his illegal marriages. His Special Forces confession allegedly confirms what prosecutors suspected all along, that Kody knowingly maintained multiple concurrent marriages in violation of state law. But here's where the legal implications get truly messy. Kody was only legally married to Meri Brown for most of Sister Wives. He divorced Meri to legally marry Robin, which means Christine and Janelle were never his legal wives. Sources whisper this creates massive complications in any property or financial disputes because Kody can't claim legal marital rights to assets acquired with Christine or Janelle when he admits on camera that those marriages were part of an illegal polygamous structure. Legal experts allegedly believe his confession undermines any argument that he deserves equal consideration in property divisions. The child support situation allegedly becomes even more complicated when you factor in Kody's polygamy admission. He confessed to fathering 18 children across 4 simultaneous relationships, most of which were never legal marriages. Industry insiders claim this admission could potentially strengthen claims by Christine and Janelle for retroactive child support, because Kody acknowledged on television that he was the father while failing to provide adequate financial support to all of his children equally. Palace insiders whisper that prosecutors in multiple states are allegedly reviewing Kody's special forces confession, not because they plan to charge him, but because his admission creates legal precedent questions about how to handle public figures who openly confess to crimes on television. Sources suggest the bigger concern is how his confession impacts civil legal proceedings rather than criminal charges. But Robin's alleged role in covering up Kody's manipulation was about to be exposed. Behind the scenes, sources whisper that Robin Brown knew about Kody's manipulation tactics all along and actively enabled his gaslighting of Christine, Janelle, and Meri for years. Now that Kody has confessed on national television to intentionally blaming his wives while knowing he was wrong, insiders allegedly believe Robin could face her own backlash as an accomplice who benefited financially and emotionally from the other women's suffering. Industry experts claim Robin's tearful performances on Sister Wives might have been part of a coordinated manipulation strategy designed to make Kody look reasonable while the other wives look difficult. Palace insiders reveal that Robin allegedly used the same victim card tactics that Kody just displayed on Special Forces. When things got tense in the family, Robin would cry and claim she was being blamed for problems she didn't create. She would sob about how hard plural marriage was for her while simultaneously enjoying the privileges of being Kody's favorite wife. Sources suggest that Robin's tears were weaponized to manipulate family dynamics, shift blame away from Kody, and paint Christine, Janelle, and Meri as jealous troublemakers who couldn't handle sharing their husband. The financial angle allegedly makes Robin's role even more disturbing. While Christine struggled to pay rent and Janelle lived in an RV, Robin enjoyed a $1 million home in Flagstaff, with Kody essentially living there full-time. Sources whisper that Robin knew Kody was neglecting his other wives and children, but said nothing because she benefited from his favoritism. Industry insiders claim that if Kody's confession proves he intentionally manipulated his family for years, then Robin's silence and cooperation could potentially make her complicit in that psychological abuse. But here's where Robin's alleged involvement gets truly explosive. During Kody's Special Forces appearance, he admitted he resisted being wrong and blamed everyone else to protect his ego. Sources close to the situation reveal that Robin allegedly reinforced this behavior by constantly validating Kody's victim mentality and supporting his decision to cut off children who questioned his authority. When Kody claimed Christine was destroying the family by leaving, Robin reportedly agreed. When Kody painted Janelle as difficult, Robin allegedly nodded along. Insiders whisper that Robin enabled Kody's worst behaviors because it kept her in the position of favorite wife. The relationship between Robin and Kody's estranged children allegedly reveals the extent of her complicity. Sources suggest that Robin actively discouraged Kody from reconciling with Gabe, Garrison, Madison, and others who challenged the family dynamics. When these children expressed hurt or frustration, Robin allegedly told Kody they were being disrespectful and didn't deserve his time. Industry insiders claim that Robin positioned herself as the protector of Kody's peace while actually isolating him from children who needed their father. Legal experts supposedly believe that if Christine, Janelle, or Meri pursue any civil action related to emotional distress or financial manipulation, Robin's role as an enabler could potentially be examined. When someone knowingly benefits from abuse while helping to cover it up, sources whisper that creates questions about shared responsibility, and the explosive fallout was just beginning to unfold. Reports are surfacing that Kody Brown's Special Forces confession could trigger a complete unraveling of everything he's built over the past 15 years. With his admissions now public and permanent, legal experts allegedly believe his ex-wives have powerful ammunition for any ongoing disputes over property, child support, and financial settlements. Sources whisper that Christine, Janelle, and Meri are allegedly allegedly coordinating their next moves, and Kody has no idea what's coming for him. Industry insiders claim the legal avalanche is about to bury him under years of consequences he spent decades avoiding. The Coyote Pass property dispute allegedly sits at the center of the impending legal storm. Kody has been fighting to maintain control over land that was purchased with contributions from all 4 wives, but his confession that he intentionally manipulated these women could potentially invalidate his claims to equal ownership. Sources suggest that Christine and Janelle's attorneys are allegedly reviewing whether Kody's admission of knowing manipulation means any property agreements signed during the marriage were obtained under psychological duress. Legal experts supposedly believe this could open the door to renegotiating how the Coyote Pass land gets divided. The child support situation allegedly represents another ticking time bomb for Kody. He admitted on national television that he has no connection with many of his 18 children and confessed to being a terrible father who didn't know how. Sources whisper that this admission could strengthen claims for retroactive support payments, particularly for children who are still minors. Industry insiders claim that family court judges take very dim views of parents who admit on camera to neglecting their children while simultaneously fighting against financial obligations. But here's where the fallout gets truly explosive. Palace insiders reveal that Kody's confession might inspire other reality television families to come forward with their own stories of manipulation and abuse hidden behind the cameras. Sources suggest the entertainment industry is allegedly watching this situation closely, because if Kody faces serious legal or financial consequences for his admitted behavior, it could set a precedent that changes how reality TV families are protected or prosecuted. The implications could ripple through dozens of shows that profit from documenting dysfunctional family dynamics. TLC's response to the mounting pressure allegedly remains the biggest question mark. Will the network continue airing Sister Wives now that the star has confessed to intentional manipulation on a competing platform? Industry sources whisper that TLC executives are supposedly having emergency meetings to determine if the show can survive this scandal or if it's time to pull the plug before the damage gets worse. Rumor has it that advertising partners are demanding answers about whether they've been funding a show that documented psychological abuse disguised as family entertainment. The Sister Wives movement allegedly adds another layer of complexity to what happens next. If Christine, Janelle, and Meri speak out publicly about Kody's confession and detail how his admitted manipulation affected their lives, sources suggest it could inspire other women in plural marriages to examine their own situations and question whether they're being gaslit or controlled. And the ultimate question remains: who makes the first devastating legal move? This isn't just reality TV drama anymore. This is documented confessions, admitted manipulation, and a network allegedly scrambling to protect itself from a scandal that could destroy one of its longest-running franchises. Kody Brown walked onto Special Forces thinking he could play the reformed villain, cry a few tears, and earn public sympathy. Instead, sources whisper he just handed his ex-wives, his children, and possibly prosecutors the evidence they've been waiting for. The question now is who makes the first legal move, and insiders claim the answer could reshape reality television forever. Legal experts allegedly believe Kody's on-camera admissions create a perfect storm of liability. He confessed to intentional manipulation while knowing he was wrong. He admitted to committing felonies by maintaining illegal plural marriages. He acknowledged having no connection with many of his children while simultaneously fighting against adequate financial support. Sources suggest that any competent attorney could use these confessions to build devastating cases for emotional distress, financial malfeasance, or parental neglect. The evidence is there, recorded in high definition, broadcast to millions, and archived forever. But here's what makes this situation truly explosive. Kody didn't just confess to being a bad husband and father. He admitted that he intentionally gaslit his wives and children to protect his own ego. He acknowledged that he knew all along he was destroying his family, but chose to blame innocent people anyway because he hated being wrong. Palace insiders whisper this isn't just poor behavior or toxic masculinity. This is allegedly calculated psychological abuse that Kody knowingly inflicted for years while TLC cameras documented every moment and profited from the suffering. The cultural impact allegedly extends far beyond the Brown family. Sources claim that women in plural marriages across America are watching Kody's confession and recognizing patterns in their own relationships. Industry insiders suggest this could spark a larger conversation about how reality television enables and monetizes abuse by presenting toxic dynamics as entertainment. When a man admits on national television that he manipulated his family intentionally, it forces viewers to reconsider every episode they watched and question whether they were complicit in normalizing psychological abuse. Christine, Janelle, and Meri allegedly hold all the cards now. They have Kody's confession. They have years of footage showing the manipulation he now admits was intentional. They have legal standing to pursue property disputes, child support claims, and potentially emotional distress cases. Sources whisper that the three women are coordinating their response, and when they move, it's going to be devastating. Rumor has it that Kody has no idea what's coming, and by the time he realizes the consequences of his special forces confession, it will be far too late to take back his words. The ultimate irony, Kody spent 15 years gaslighting his family on camera while avoiding accountability. Now his own words might finally force him to face consequences he's dodged for decades. So what do you think happens next? Will Christine, Janelle, and Meri take legal action using Kody's confession? Drop your thoughts below, like, subscribe, and stay tuned because the next video is waiting and you won't believe what's coming next.